These days, we're free to love anybody, and as for me, well, I fell in love with the knife. We actually met online. I flew her in all the way from the Netherlands. Things didn't work out in my last relationship. All my life, just want the DBK knife.
Who's that song about? Who's DBK?
What? No one. Oh, she knew something was going on.
We should wear protection.
You're right. Now, where were we?
What the hell?
It's not what it looks like.
So this is DBK?
Oh, Doma.
How did this even start?
Well, Mikkie and Maarten introduced us.
Oh, of course they did. Dickie and Barton.
That's not their names!
Y'all have a happy life together, you backstabber.
I didn't! Oh, she means like figuratively. But every end brings a new beginning. And do you, Ryan, take Debbie K's handle in marriage, to hone and to sharpen, as long as you both shall live? I do. And by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and knife. You may kiss the bride. Oh. And you said I was looking sharp today.
You.
To thank the DBK boys for years of entertaining videos, I wanted to make one for them. And I truly do believe that the DBK knife is the best bushcraft knife in the world. Here's why. First is edge geometry. This knife removes material like magic. This used to be my best carving knife. This is a Mora 510. It's one of the thinnest knives they make, and it is like a lightsaber in the woods. This knife, despite how thick and strong it is, removes material just as well as this knife, and far better than any other knife that I've tried. In this test, I compare how difficult it is to cut through a wooden dowel. Important to note that all knives were sharpened to shaving sharp before this test, except the DBK knife, which was still shaving slightly, but actually duller than the others, just to show how good this grind is. You can see by my facial expression how difficult some of these cuts were, with some knives unable to do it in one slice. Let's see how the DBK knife compares. Easy peasy. Look at that. How much easier that is. Secondly, it's just the right weight for some light chopping. I think that chopping is a really underrated characteristic of bushcraft knives. Whether it's delimbing, which is a super common task, is way easier to do by chopping than by carving. And there are so many projects that require quick removal of material, whether it's spoons, spear points on things, if you're making a bow or a wedge. It's much faster to chop the wood off than carve it in a lot of cases. To prove the point, look how long it takes me to carve this wedge. So there we go. That took, well, I'll put the time on screen, but I'm also exhausted. And this is how long it takes to chop the wedge. That was way faster, and I'm not out of breath. And yet the knife is still light enough to carry on hikes without it being too burdensome. Third is strength. When you hold this knife in your hand, it feels incredibly solid. You're not worried about breaking it. It's very thick, it's very robust, and so any of those harder use tasks, it's also going to be able to handle in addition to the fine finesse tasks. Fourth is edge retention. With this knife, you really don't need to bring like a sharpening kit with you if you're just going out for a weekend. That saves weight in your pack, and also who wants to stop and sharpen a knife during a fun project anyway? Now, some might say in a long-term survival situation, you wouldn't really be able to sharpen this knife like, say, on a rock. But the reality is, I'm on a search and rescue team, and it's very rare for people to be in long-term survival situations. It's really those first few days that matter, and a knife like this that you don't have to worry about, you don't have to spend your precious time maintaining, is going to be, in my opinion, a lot better for survival than a knife that you're constantly having to touch up when you're trying to take care of those basic survival needs. So I think the DBK philosophy on using a super steel for a survival type knife is a very sound idea. If I could have critiques for the knife, they wouldn't really be critiques as much as preferences. One is handle size. For me, this handle is a little bit thin. I would like a girthier handle. However, because I always wear gloves when I do bushcrafting tasks, when I wear gloves, the handle is the perfect size. So I really don't know if it's a critique or not, but maybe a slightly beefier handle. Another thing people talk about is the slickness of the handle. And it is a little slick. It would really only be an issue if the handle was wet, in which case you could take the pinky lanyard, which I use for chopping, and put it around like that, and that will prevent your hand from sliding forward in kind of the worst case scenario. But the good thing about this slickness is it doesn't leave your hand feeling raw. If you've ever used the Mora Garberg, it has this diamond texture, which really kind of feels like a cheese grater in your hand. And by the end of it, your hand's raw and red. So that's a very rough handle with a great grip, but it has cons. Similarly, if you've ever used a handle that has rough micarta, this is the Tops Brachimo, that knife as well can leave your hands feeling quite raw, which this handle does not do. I also think that a pointier tip with less belly may be more ideal for certain bushcraft tasks, perhaps something closer to the Bark River Aurora grind, but I'm sure that changing the grind would result in, cons that would reduce performance in other areas, perhaps such as that incredible slicing ability. It's almost like whoever designed this knife tested hundreds of knives and took only the best attributes and put them into one knife. Oh wait, so in conclusion, if you can't afford this knife, get a second job, mow some lawns, drive some Uber, sell your body on the street, whatever it takes, it'll be worth it. The goal of this video is to help DBK sell as many DBK Bushcrafters as DBK has sold Mora Robusts. So thanks Maarten and Mikkie for all your hard work, for the years of amazing videos, and for making Thursdays the best day of the week.